Today we're going to attack a firewall and steal data over an encrypted channel using a Kali Linux machine to exploit a web application. The first thing we want to do is scan the firewall for vulnerabilities using Nmap and Zinmap. Here you can see with the Nmap scan there's a number of ports open. After scanning with Zinmap, we can see on the ports tab there's an Apache server running on port 80. After a quick web search, we could easily find an exploit for the Apache server. In step 2, we use Metasploit and Encryptped to acquire the internal IP address of the web server. The first thing we need to do is start the Postgres service and Metasploit. After searching for the exploit in Metasploit, we're going to enter our options and show options to check and make sure they're configured correctly. Now we run the exploit and gain a reverse shell. Next, we will navigate to the Apache directory that contains the log file. Here we want to exfiltrate the access log file, and you can see on our host machine we now have the file. After opening up the file, we can now find the internal IP address of the web server. Now that we have the internal IP address of the web server, we're going to use it to pivot and exploit. After an internet search, we can find an exploit that will allow us to pivot and eventually exfiltrate some data. Now we can background our other shell, and we can use this exploit to gain access to the internal web server. We set our configurations and we utilize the exploit. Now we're in and we can move about the directory. Now that we're in, we can exfiltrate some data. We have root privileges, and now we're able to exfiltrate the blueprints we've been looking for. We've successfully scanned, found vulnerabilities, exploited those vulnerabilities, and pivoted to allow ourselves to exfiltrate some data.